What's up, guys? It's Colin Powerlifting.
And this is Strawberry Cough, aka the Chicken Man, aka the Red Man,
This is Eating Beans.
and Smoking Greens.
Alright, so let's get started.
We had a little introduction.
You know,
Brody, I'm Joel.
competitive arm wrestling.
This is a big time
Powerlifter.
powerlifter. We're going to talk today a little bit about meat prep. Go ahead and give them a little bit of a rundown on the meat, what it is, where it's going to be, who's throwing it, and then we'll jump into the differences in your past meat preps versus
we'll
this
discuss
meat
the whole meal. We'll just dissect it all. But December 9th is the date for RPS meet. You know, Nick Ramey and Jonathan Busby, they're throwing the meat. Already, for a fact, there's 65 lifters that have signed up. Big Arkansas meet. The strongest of Arkansas currently, at their strongest, are going to be there. And as you know, like, I'm just now getting back into it, kind of after a 2.5 year hiatus of a year that not lifting whatsoever in the gym. And then only really being back deadlifting and squatting for the past 4 months. So it's been very humbling, slow, methodical return. And I'm not looking to put up any PRs on the platform. I'm just getting a feel for competing again. So right now, I think some of my best numbers I've hit in prep so far is like 395 double, and then a clean 400 even bench, a 605 double on deadlifts, and a couple doubles with 550, and a couple singles with 605.
And just compare that to your best meat numbers real quick, just to let people know.
Yeah.
This isn't where you're stopping; it's just where you're starting. And I think also it'd be interesting to compare this meat's numbers with your first ever meat's numbers.
For sure. And before I get into that, also best squat so far in prep, 635 self-rap, and then a 685, 50-pound reverse band. You know, squat has been, oddly enough, one of the slowest clicking lifts this prep, which is my bread and butter. That's historically what I've been the greatest at. But to compare it to my first meet, I just turned 24. First meet was at 19 in December of
2019.
Yeah. And I opened with a 600 squat. Had hit 700, you know, that summer leading into school when I was still going to tag. And then, but as you know, because you were right there like the entire time, I did an 18-pound water cut for the first time competing. Only, you know, just wasn't even taking protein shakes, just eating fucking a lot of failed lifts and a lot of success, a lot of learning, you know, with my first mentor, Corbin Arnold. And then I opened with 6, got 645, which was like a APA national record of some sort. And then
for a teen class, for juniors.
For junior, yeah, it was a.
It's a 270.
I was 20. I guess my first competition was at 20.
It was a 278.
275.
275.
So I weighed in at 274. Water loaded from 284 to 294, then cut to 274. And then
gnarly weight cut, y'all. If you've ever cut weight, you know anything really above 15 pounds, it doesn't matter how much you weigh, you're gonna fight a battle to go through it.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I don't do weight cuts anymore. Because I've done it in the past and had bad experience on competition day, or like, you know, because in high school we went to the weightlifting competition and I dropped 50 pounds real quick in a span of like just a couple months, 2 to 3, and lost the weight meet by a couple hundred pounds. I scratched my bench completely. So that's what started my competitive nature.
Got tired of losing pretty quick.
Well, having not ended on a good note, senior year, like, we really wanted one more ring. We lost our, state championship my senior year when we almost had a prep record. Won it the year before, went back again, we lost it, and that was, we ended on that. And then I lost the state weight meet. But yeah, then my first ever meet, I opened with 345, bench, got 365, grinded it, went 275, didn't get it. Also failed 670, third attempt squat. I was gonna go for 700. I tried squatting out of a mono for the first time, never practiced a mono, so I should just kept walking it out because that's all I ever knew was walked out squats. At which this meet in December, I'm walking my shit out because let's just go back to my roots and get a strong squat. That's how I prep and don't change anything. And then opened with maybe 505. Coincidentally, sumo. This is before, it's funny because this is my first meet ever, and now my meet back, I'm pulling sumo. And then my two best meets, both conventional, but it's been fun to try to relearn that. Then went 550 second attempt. Third attempt was like 590 because I wanted to secure like a 1,600 pound total. I'm going for a total. And then didn't have it. The corporate almost slapped the hell out of my bag.
Crazy back slap. You have to go back and watch the video.
Yeah, I took my shirt off and everything, so it was skin to skin. And then, after that, dropped out of college, started living back home. A lot of just living to train, and get big numbers because that's all I had. A lot of other family stuff, that's just part of life.
What were your numbers when you started this prep? When you first doing your 2.5 year
going to December meet, yeah.
After your 2.5 year break of the biggest numbers you've ever had.
So
the biggest, strongest you've ever been. And then you have a 2.5 year break.
Yeah.
And the mental, talk about also the mental challenges coming back, hitting those numbers in the gym when you first come back, and it not being close to what you're capable of. Think about the road ahead and everything. Talk about that.
Yeah, so my last meet, as a lot of people might know, I had a 900 squat, 465 second attempt clean bench, and a 685 deadlift. Had 700 real close, but it was a 2,050 total, which is, I did it at 21, so I was the youngest to do it in Arkansas.
21 years old, and 2,100 pound total?
2,050.
2,050.
Really close to 21.
Did it hit some of those last lifts, yeah. But still, great performance at 21 years old, and only is.
Especially considering like the heaviest successful squat I had in prep was 820 and felt an 870 squat. It was I told everyone I was gonna squat that 900. That was when I really started believing in manifesting and having confidence in your lifting abilities. But those are my numbers, and then just moved to Waldron from Mount Ida. It just got to the point where I wasn't training. I was kind of burnt out. I dedicated so much time and effort to get a 2K total and a 900 squat. Were two major goals of mine. Then I did it so young and sacrificed a lot of time of like hanging out, going out, doing this and that. So I was recovered for training. And then so getting back with Nick Ramey, my coach, which is all my best meets have been with him, my first meet with him, I totaled 1940. So, and he got me to a 2,050 total 7 months after that. So I'll always work with Nick.
He's almost become like an older brother to you more than anything or something.
He's definitely family. Yeah. He's a mentor. But I started back with him 4 months ago, and I hit, at very first, a 500 sleeve squat, and like a 500 deadlift. And then I had hit a 405 bench, and haven't really went anything over that. There's prep, but that's because you know, I was a little heavier too.
You've been losing weight.
I've been losing weight
time.
steady for the past year, and then ramped it up. Once I was hovering between 355 and 360 there for a minute. That's when I finished, you know, 405 again for the first time in 2 years. But then now I'm sitting at 335 pretty consistently. So, you know, that's a good amount of weight to have leaned up and try to progress your lifts at the same time. So 500 squat, 500 deadlift, and 405 bench. And then I think I hit a 605 squat, both bare knee and ramped, that were not to depth, but hit those within like maybe 2 months back with Nick. So and a lot of it has been, you know,
letting the body acclimate to the weight,
and just at its new body weight as well, and then cleaning up lifts, right? Because now hitting 605 is to depth and it's beautiful,
smooth,
versus like high and look like, you know, is shaky.
You've removed all the sloppiness.
And then deadlifts have been probably the best thing all prep, because, you know, 5 to 605 double, pretty good number jump, and then it's just, you know, having some heavy, which is funny because you know, having lifted so much heavier before, and you're taking like 575 doubles on deadlift as a good sign. You know, it's kind of like not as heavy as it used to be. Like heavy doubles used to be from the 630 to 650 range. But still building that confidence back up, cleaning up your lifts, being able to execute it.
You're gonna be stronger entering your next prep. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, this is like I said. I'm not trying to be overly obsessed about any type of numbers that I have to put up these to make a statement or anything. I'm just getting back involved with the community because I love them. I'm actually gonna try to ref this coming year in between meets. Which I'm gonna get involved through that with Nick's help, you know, because I was talking to him, I was talking to Keith Baker about like, hey, you know, with some things I can do to get more involved in the community, start giving back. He was talking about being a back spotter, strong back spotter, and reffing, and then, you know, I mentioned to Nick, and he was like, I could easily, you know, get you into some reffing. You know, obviously you gotta learn how to, all the rule books that whatever federation you choose has, because everyone's different. Every meet that I've ever done has been a different federation every time. I don't try to get caught up in competing in just one, but my second meet was RPS, and I'm returning with RPS this meet because that's one, you know, Nick's involved with, and it's a good federation. I like RPS. I do. You know, I like the stuff when they do, like, you know, it's like different color plates, like those green plates that they've done before, and just like interesting setups, you know, not just very
you know, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, this green's getting me good. But speaking of green plates, gets it that psycho look, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That crazy look that a lot of powerlifters can kind of tap
always
into.
how like equip lifters used to compete, but raw.
Yeah.
That was like an event. It's exciting. It's colorful.
Brings back the live energy.
Back when, and me and Nick were just talking about before this, because he's, you know, I sent him videos from old powerlifters, like, you know, before the influence scene really took over, like, you know, Yuri Belkin, Dan Green, Stan Efferding, Eric Lubitsch, George Lynn, all those guys. He was like, we just can't name all of them. And I knew the majority of them, but, you know, that era of lifting, you know,
that's what you
was
grew
very
up
exciting, very enticing. Like, I definitely would like do what I could to bring back a similar vibe as far as competing. But that, just going back to RPS, they do, you know, fun looking events like that, you know, just make it interesting. And it's like the only ones that I ever see really have money involved is RPS and SPF.
Yeah.
As far as Arkansas goes, the only meets I've been to where there's been money has just been those two. You know, I could, you don't quote me, there could be other feds that have done it. I'm sure they have, but to my knowledge, that's what I see the most consistently having money involved in their meets is which, not why I'm returning or nothing, but, once I get back to lifting heavy, it's definitely,
It helps to have something to
it's
pay
just
off
extra
all the hard work.
there's motivation,
hard
there's
work.
discipline, there's a lot of lifting when you don't want to,
Yeah.
and not having any type of motivation, but then, like, if you get your head really into a meat prep, because, like, a couple thousand online to help, pay for all the training that you do. Nutrition, buying pre-workout, because I'm back into that. We really need to get back on some, I've been talking about doing caffeine-free pre, but I have yet to do it, and because you do need to find a healthy balance of caffeine. I think you can overdo it for sure. I've noticed too, like, sometimes, like, ideally I like to take my pre-workout 20-30 minutes before workout. I know you're different, you like to take it as you go sometimes, and maybe right before.
I've been taking it roughly 15 to 20 minutes here recently though.
But if I take it and it's like, and I wait like 45 minutes to 50 minutes, or if I'm like a little dehydrated and I take it, I feel awful. So I think lowering the caffeine, I think it's a lot of that's in the caffeine and timing. I feel like, if I can get back to, because when I did my 900-pound squat, I wasn't taking no pre-workout. I felt good. I didn't have those crashes during the workout, which I'm not saying that's, necessarily like it's been completely shitting on my workouts, because it helps me get in after a 10-hour shift. I need it. I need that boost.
If you are taking some pre-workout, you probably need to take the measures to hydrate even more and to make sure your diet and you're eating
for sure
at the right times.
All contributing factors.
Because to me, something that I'm currently trying to figure out is when I work out, my pre-workout will still be in my system. I go in and work out at 5 and take the pre-workout at 4:45 p.m. And then I'm still feeling the pre-workout by 9, 10 o'clock. Still feeling the wokeness though, being awake. Not wokeness, but being awake.
Yeah, and that's also like what leads you to feel like crappy during workouts, because that pre-workout the previous night also made you stay up.
Or even crappy, not crappy during the workout, but maybe crappy at the next day at work.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to push through work, then you're dragging the fat the whole time during
rest is the most essential thing to gain. Nutrition and rest. Because definitely when I have my best meets, I've been phenomenal at ensuring 8 to 9 hours.
Yeah. I've been making sure I get that much on the weekends, but
weekdays is hard. Weekdays is hard.
Better on weekdays.
I think there's a good cycle of running off of X amount of sleep than a little more.
Yeah.
Getting it when you can, but like when you have to grind and hustle extra hard and wake up earlier and then stay up a little bit late.
What's some tricks on your meet day, like the day before meet, to calm the nerves before and get some sleep? You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard to, for me, it's hard to sleep before a competition. I'm constantly awake and thinking about what's gonna happen the next day.
I got really good at like day before, but just kind of like relaxing.
I know we went on walks before and things like that.
Yeah, but day of, once you get whenever they're having a meet, nerves start kicking in then for me. Mm-hmm. But the thing, oddly enough, that's my favorite part about it. I love that feeling of like anything can happen. Am I going to complete these lifts? I need to really get in the zone. And that's what kind of helps me zone out and zone into the lift. Because when I squatted 900, the duration of that squat, I couldn't tell you what was going on around me. I couldn't. I was in a different world.
I think a lot of people look for something like that,
Yeah. That's what fuels you. You can let that fuel you or discourage you. You get to pick. It's just going to motivate me because, I always have my best days on meet day. Nick knows how to program me. Nick knows how to work with me. But I'm also just really good. Like, I trust the process. Things are coming on.
It's going to work itself
today.
out.
And that a lot of that is too is, when you try to be more and more technical as you go on, like on the lifts, You know, once you get your technique down, like, and you've trained and prepped, like the strength is going to be there. So trust in your technique as well. But like, yeah, I love feeding off the energy on meet day. That's one of the addicting parts about it is that energy that goes into it, feeding off of that. I will say, any nervousness is over after your first 10 squat.
Yeah.
That's the most nerve-wracking lift of your meet. Because it starts the whole shebang.
Right.
If you fucking bomb your opening squat, like it's
sets
gonna
the
mess
tone.
with you mentally.
Sets the tone.
It sets the tone hard. But that's like the first hit in football back in high school. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
You
you be the
better
first
get
team to give them the lick and not get the lick given to you. That's what she said, but yes, the energy is definitely a good reason I'm coming back with the community as well. I love the people.
Who are some of your close circle in powerlifting? That
Definitely,
you wanna
obviously,
shout
Nick
out?
Ramey, my coach. Then I'll consider him my brother at this point. I call him uncle. But Jonathan Seymour, JB, then obviously all the people at No Excuses, Wade and Terry Harrell, phenomenal people. My best meet, prep through No Excuses. They've always been very good to me. Their family as well. You know, John and Amber Busby have always been real hospitable to me, and you know, John and Nick are running the meet, and so a lot of love for all those guys. And then obviously like Joe Humbert, who was also on the arm wrestling side for a bit, reverse bench 500, real strong.
Crazy strength. Reverse grip bench 500 pounds.
Yeah.
Shout out to Joe Humbert, the Joe Show.
Yeah, then obviously like Logan Chapman, you know, he was the biggest name as far as heavy lifts and just being top dog for a while. You know, squatted 1,030, you know, bench 550 and pulled mid eights. I know he had he had pulled 880 in comp, but disowned it for technical reasons. A lot of respect to him for that. But he invited me on his podcast. He invited me into his home, you know, and I hadn't totaled 2,000 yet. It was one of the things we talked about is gearing up to live for that. So, great dude. Even though he's not really proud to no more, Kevin Freeman, also one of those old Jonesboro people. Then I don't want to forget nobody. You know, David Shirley. Obviously, he's let us get involved at the expo with the arm wrestling tournament. So shout out to him and Invictus powerlifting. Jamie McDougal, you know, GOAT, very, you know, Arkansas legend as well.
Respected across the country.
Kai as well. You know, it's been a lot of cool people, and you know, forgive me if I'm forgetting anybody, but there's a lot to name. Keith Baker, obviously, shout out to him. He does a lot of great things for the sport locally. You know, runs the Arkansas Powerlifting page and everything. And
would you like to eventually try to get more nationally connected with the scene?
Absolutely, absolutely.
The John Hacks and Julius Maddox.
Absolutely. That is
Kevin Oaks of the world. You know, the Dan Greens. Get out in some of these big events. Is that some of your end goals that you see?
Absolutely. I want to go big with it for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I had reached, you know, at the time 2021, I think for the majority of the year I was like third in the world. I might have ended like fourth or fifth after some, you know, other strongers came in. But at some point I was able to say for the good majority of the year I was third in the world. But never competed at anything huge like the current U.S. Open. Which was a big goal that I also had. So things like that and getting connected on the national level, you know, always giving love to the local Arkansans, and always, you know, staying as big in Arkansas as I can, always help build them up, but that's also the start and the foot in the door to the rest of the community. You know, the further I can take myself in social media and my name and my brand, the further I can take Arkansas too. Like if I get big, people are gonna know I came from Arkansas. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna forget my roots.
Right.
And I was still very So if I ever get to the point where I'm a big name in powerlifting, and I'm, you know, traveling the U.S. or maybe even the world for big meets and stuff, like people are gonna know that dude's from Arkansas. You know, that's what Arkansas produces, which I think is something. You know, like Nick Ramey and Logan Chapman, they all kind of did that same thing because they were top dogs in the world in open.
Mm-hmm.
You know, doing
some legends in the sport, not just
absolutely.
Arkansas, but across the board in the U.S. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
Some guys that have respect from Brandon Allen and the likes of like, you know,
Nick was competing one year to rank, you know, with like not too far from Yuri Belkin, you know, type of thing.
Yeah, Yuri definitely knows who Nick is.
Yeah. But I would definitely like to get to where I could be in the range for top 5 or something occurring in the next, you know, 3 to 5 years, or other big meets like that. Maybe one day do what was it, like the big dogs in Australia?
Big dog, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big cash money event.
Yeah. I just really invest myself into the sport as much as I can because it is, you know, the sport that I have been the most successful with and have taken to really well. I will say I will also be doing everything I can to get heavily involved back into BJJ as well. So off season, post me a week after my meet. Actually, I'm gonna go to Tulsa, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament. Just hop in that. Then every off season when I'm not prepping for a meet specifically, just compete in that as much as I can as well. Because I think it's good to stay flexible, healthy, and strong, and in different areas, functional. So I think that's when you have something like that too that you can kind of focus on in the off season while also building your numbers. Helps you not get burned out, you know, because me being in powerlifting, I want to be lifting my entire life, but competitive wise, like the plan is a 5 or 10 year range of being able to reach, you know, not only the top, but like my name means something in the sport. Like you gotta play the longevity game, you know, you gotta stay healthy. And so a lot of that is getting obsessed when you need to, and then dialing back a little bit, letting things build also when you need to. So having that to not completely burn myself out on one or the other, it's gonna help a lot. But I'll always be training in one way or another. Like the feeling of not training, that year of not training whatsoever, was terrible. I did not like it, you know, and that'll never happen again. And I'll just continue to, obviously, post-meet, continue to resume the cut I've been just maintaining in the past month. Resume the cut to 300 even, sit there for a while, do some damage at 308 this next year.
Do you ever see yourself, if somebody comes to you with a strongman offer, that
I would definitely like...
You know, you got some really good guys like Mitchell Hooper.
Shout out to Bo. I don't want to get his last name wrong, but he trains out of Iron Warehouse in Fort Smith, Bo Forg or something like that. Forgive me, Bo, for mispronouncing if you're watching this. But he does strongman, and they have strongman equipment up there, and I've definitely been interested in, because I like picking up stones, you know, and I like the idea of like a heavy yoke walk, and then, you know, heavy deads, strap, just giving it, you know, just pulling the weight for X amount of reps, whatever. Functional strength, you know.
Yeah, 1,000 years ago or 500 years ago, these guys, they wouldn't be competing. They'd be helping their village survive. They'd be doing everything they could to move and lift the heaviest things that needed to be done, you know.
Because I feel like you've also seen it multiple times, like in Hathor, who was, you know, mainly a strongman guy, obviously, because that was his big sport, you know, was able to cross over to powerlifting and put up good numbers because you stay strong. Doing that sport, especially when you build a strong overhead press and strong deadlift, like your bench and deadlift will be really good, and then they squat like 7+ for reps, like in World Strongest Man. So like you can do both, balance both, and juggle them. Like during off season, not prep for me doing some strongman stuff. That would be. I might even do one
Like
a strongman competition, 1 or 2 of them in Arkansas this coming year. Just having fun, just doing it, just doing it for fun too.
Like, I can't see how a heavy log press wouldn't translate to helping your bench and something.
Oh yeah, overhead press work is one of the best accessories for a bench. Because you got people like Brian Shaw who can overhead press like 5+.
And it's just another way to keep your legs mobile too.
Yeah.
Using your legs.
When you're able to lift heavy weight and then move with it, that's a good sign.
Change points of direction and vectors.
But I'm definitely just the strength in a combat sport as a whole. I want to get involved with, have a hand in some way or another. Because obviously we have arm wrestling too. We got you're pro, you're nationally ranked. And you're gonna do big things this year as well. So. And that's another, upcoming cute. Like it's getting big right now because of people like Larry Wills exposed to the sport and stuff like that.
Devin
but it's such a
more and more.
Yeah, Devin Larry as well. And it's growing locally in Arkansas now because obviously we have some top dogs in Arkansas as well, and a lot of guys making statements. And you'll be making a lot of big statements this coming year too. So we have that and just. Kind of, just the industry as a whole, both locally at first and then spending as far as we can is the whole objective.
Yeah, I hope we can just keep improving this journey, growing this journey, learning on this journey, and we're gonna start this thing up. We're gonna start this podcast up, and we're just gonna be ourselves, take it for what it is, and ask that you come along and check it out. Ride this wave with us, and who knows, we may pass you one sometime along the way.
This has been Eating Beans
and Smoking Greens.
Compounds and out.